Tonight, you're going to have a drink. Maybe you already did. Beer, wine, something stronger. You'll finish it, put the glass down, and move on with your evening. You won't think twice about it. But what you just did is older than language, older than fire pits, older than the first tool anyone ever picked up. What you did connects you to a small primate sitting on a forest floor 10 million years ago, reaching for a piece of fruit that had been rotting in the heat a little too long. And that creature had no idea it was starting something that would never stop. So let's go back, all the way back. Fruit falls from trees. That's just physics. And when fruit hits the ground and sits there, the sugar inside it starts to break down. Yeast gets in. Fermentation kicks off. The fruit starts producing small amounts of ethanol. Our primate ancestors would eat that fruit, feel something they couldn't name, and come back for more tomorrow. Over millions of years, that preference got baked in, not metaphorically, biologically. The taste for fermented food became part of the wiring. By the time actual humans showed up, the craving was already built in. Nobody taught us to want it. Evolution handled that. The question is, when did we figure out how to make it on purpose? 13,000 years ago. That's when. Archaeologists excavating a cave near Haifa, Israel, found stone mortars carved directly into the rock. Inside those mortars, they found residue, wheat and barley, soaked, germinated, and left to ferment. That's beer, brewed in a cave 13,000 years ago. Here's the part that stops people cold. The group that made it, the Natufians, were not farmers. They hadn't figured out agriculture yet. They were still hunting animals and collecting wild grain by hand. They didn't grow the barley. They went out, found it, carried it back, and turned it into something drinkable. Brewing came before farming. That's not a small detail. That flips the whole story, because the version most people learned goes like this. Humans settled down, built villages, learned to farm, and then eventually stumbled onto fermentation. Alcohol shows up late. Civilization first, then the drink. But Raqefet Cave says the opposite. These people had no permanent home and no crops, and they were already making beer, which raises a question that archaeologists have been arguing about for decades. Why did humans start farming at all? Patrick McGovern, the leading expert on ancient alcohol in the world, has spent his career on exactly this. His argument is simple. Bread is complicated. You grind the grain, knead the dough, manage the heat. Wait. Beer is different. You soak grain in water, leave it alone, and fermentation does the rest by itself. The process runs on its own. He thinks the desire to drink consistently was a stronger motivation than the desire to eat grain in a new shape. If he's right, then alcohol isn't a byproduct of civilization. It might be the reason civilization started. From there, the trail gets clearer. 9,000 years ago, in central China, archaeologists found pottery jars with residue inside. Rice, honey, grapes, hawthorn berries, all fermented together. This is the oldest confirmed recipe anywhere on Earth, and it wasn't accidental. Multiple ingredients, deliberately combined. Whoever made this knew exactly what they were doing. Then Egypt. By the time the pyramids were going up, beer wasn't a luxury. It was infrastructure. Workers were paid in it, 4 to 5 liters a day. Per person, not coins, not grain, beer. And it made practical sense because Nile water was often contaminated. But beer, because of the brewing process, was actually safer to drink. It kept people alive in ways that water couldn't. It added calories for people doing brutal physical labor in the desert heat. One drink was doing the job of a paycheck, a water filter, a meal, and a medicine, all from the same cup. So here's the full picture. 10 million years ago, your ancestors were reaching for rotting fruit because something in them said yes. 13,000 years ago, they were brewing deliberately before they knew how to grow a single crop. 9,000 years ago, they had recipes. 5,000 years ago, entire civilizations were running on it. Alcohol didn't arrive after humans built the world. There's a real argument that it's part of why they built it at all. Every time you pour a drink, you're not doing something modern. You're doing something ancient. The ingredients got better, the glasses got cleaner, the process got refined over thousands of years. But the impulse is the same one that made a primate reach for overripe fruit on a forest floor 10 million years ago. We just learned how to do it on purpose.